Entire cities had to be shut down. Thousands of screaming fans swarmed a store, trapping him inside for 9 straight minutes. And somehow a single $1.79 donation kicked off the entire phenomenon. This isn't your average YouTuber success story. This is iShowSpeed, the unfiltered force of nature who didn't just break the internet. He transcended it. Most creators hit a ceiling. Even the giants with millions of subscribers, global tours, and brand deals eventually plateau. But Speed? He's not playing by the same rules. He's not even on the same planet. This isn't just internet fame, this is Beatlemania, MJ in his prime, a level of chaos and devotion the online world has never seen. And no, that clip wasn't a fluke. That kind of madness follows Speed wherever he goes. But how did a teenager from Ohio go from screaming into a webcam to shutting down cities like a rock star on tour? Let's rewind to the jaw-dropping moment that proved Speed wasn't just famous. He became a movement. In Norway, what began as an ordinary live stream spiraled into chaos in just 9 minutes and 6 seconds. Speed and his team found themselves barricaded inside a tiny souvenir shop, surrounded on all sides. Outside, it was pure mayhem. Thousands of fans crushed against the windows, climbed on nearby cars, and swarmed every possible exit. It wasn't a meet and greet, it was a full-blown fan riot. And Speed, he was stuck in the eye of the storm. Security, overwhelmed. Police, powerless. The only escape, forcing their way through the crowd, a reckless, last resort move that could have turned tragic in seconds. This wasn't just chaos. It was a flashing red warning. Speed's fame had morphed into something wild, raw, and completely uncontainable. Think about this. Most celebrities bring security to keep fans at a safe distance. Speed, he needs security just to avoid being crushed by the tidal wave of people sprinting, screaming, and doing whatever it takes just to get near him. We're talking kids skipping school, fans traveling for hours, entire blocks shutting down just for a glimpse. And if you thought Norway was wild, Indonesia took it to a level no English-speaking streamer had ever touched before. While streaming live from Jakarta, Indonesia, Speed did the unthinkable. He hit 1 million concurrent viewers, not total views, not replays, not watch time. 1 million people, all locked in, watching him live in real time. That's not just a milestone, that's history. A number so massive, it's usually reserved for presidential debates, global sporting events, or once-in-a-generation concerts. And here was Speed, just a teenager with a webcam and a wild personality, commanding an audience larger than most networks could ever dream of. For context, major sporting events, even presidential debates, struggle to pull those kinds of numbers. Speed hit 1 million live viewers. From the streets of Jakarta, no camera crew, no $1 million setup, no marketing blitz, just a phone, his chaotic energy, and the kind of raw charisma that cut straight through language barriers and cultural lines. This wasn't just a record, it was a signal. Speed wasn't a streamer anymore. He had evolved into a global spectacle, a walking, talking event that stopped time, hijacked attention, and did what traditional celebrities couldn't. But here's the wildest part. None of this would have happened without a random kid named Bradley, and a tiny donation that flipped the internet upside down. April 26, 2022. With 6 million subscribers already under his belt, Speed had carved out a reputation for his boisterous personality, unpredictable antics, and raw, unfiltered style. But in the blink of an eye, just 10 fleeting seconds, his entire trajectory would dramatically shift. The irony? Not a single person watching could have possibly foreseen the seismic impact of that brief moment. 3 words: Cristiano Ronaldo Suudi. A straightforward response to an ordinary question. Yet Speed remained oblivious that this brief clip would catapult him into the most massive fan base on Earth, football enthusiasts worldwide. To help my American audience grasp the magnitude, while the Super Bowl pulls an impressive 115 million viewers, the World Cup final alone commanded 1.5 billion eyeballs. Throughout the entire tournament, a staggering 5 billion people tuned in. Bradley hadn't just tossed Speed some small contribution, he'd unwittingly handed him a golden ticket to the planet's grandest stage. Speed seized the opportunity immediately. He grabbed a soccer ball for the very first time, launched FIFA, and something extraordinary unfolded as he massacred player pronunciations, erupted over pack openings, and celebrated each goal as if it were Champions League glory. The football community didn't merely observe, they wholeheartedly embraced his beautiful madness. And fueling this phenomenon was a singular obsession that would become the heartbeat of Speed's content for years: Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo transcends mere soccer stardom. He reigns as the ultimate icon on the global stage. Commanding over 1 billion followers across social platforms, he outshines every musician, actor, and influencer on Earth in terms of reach and influence. Speed transformed this admiration into his entire brand identity. What began with simple reaction clips rapidly escalated into dedicated songs, elaborate music videos, and permanent CR7 tattoos etched onto his skin. His initial appreciation rapidly morphed into something far more intense: a complete, all-consuming obsession that defined his content and persona. Speed's connection to Ronaldo evolved far beyond casual reactions. It became a global pursuit. He journeyed relentlessly across continents, from London's FA Cup matches to Qatar's World Cup stadiums, bellowing from the bleachers in a desperate bid for his idol's acknowledgement. Each unsuccessful attempt only intensified his determination. His audience transformed from passive viewers into emotional stakeholders in this quest. They weren't just watching anymore, they were deeply invested, collectively willing this meetup into existence. The momentum built to such fever pitch that even Ronaldo's teammates began taking notice of the phenomenon. After an exhaustive campaign of pursuit spanning months, filled with frantic chasing, passionate screaming, and non-stop streaming, Speed's seemingly impossible dream finally materialized into reality. In the unlikely setting of a dimly lit parking garage, following Portugal's commanding 3-0 victory over Bosnia, the long-awaited encounter finally unfolded. But something remarkable occurred during Speed's Ronaldo pursuit. As he crossed borders and continents, he discovered his fame wasn't merely expanding, it was evolving into something entirely unprecedented. The massive crowds, electric atmosphere, and sheer magnitude of fans appearing specifically for him dwarfed anything he'd experienced in his home country. And so Speed made the savvy creator's choice. He didn't just embrace this international phenomenon, he dove headfirst into it with complete commitment. Speed transformed his Ronaldo pursuit into a worldwide expedition. From Japan to the UK, India to Brazil, each location offered fresh experiences, yet invariably produced the same result: complete and utter pandemonium. One moment he'd be trying his hand at cricket in India, and the next he'd be bellowing "Sui" at the prestigious Ballon d'Or ceremony. This wasn't superficial tourism. Speed fully immersed himself in local cultures, connected directly with his fans face to face, and left behind legions of passionate supporters wherever he went. In 2024, Speed elevated his approach with an ambitious European tour, 18 countries compressed into just 30 whirlwind days. His journey became a series of cultural touchpoints, savoring doner kebab in Germany, engaging with Albania's prime minister, and improvising soccer matches in Poland's streets. Each stop transformed into an iconic moment in internet history. His fans demonstrated unprecedented dedication, sprinting miles, navigating dangerous traffic, and putting themselves at risk merely to share a moment in his presence. Speed's channel exploded with over 2 million new subscribers in that single month alone, achieving growth milestones that most content creators spend their entire careers striving to reach. But there's a delicate balance between passionate fandom and dangerous frenzy. One misstep and the electric energy powering Speed's streams could rapidly become hazardous. Wherever Speed appeared, his fans craved more than just a glimpse. They hungered for a physical connection. They dove toward him, grabbing desperately for souvenirs, his hat, shoes, even strands of his hair. This wasn't mere excitement, but raw desperation, a chance to physically connect with internet royalty and walk away with tangible proof of the encounter. As crowds swelled to overwhelming proportions and became increasingly unpredictable, Speed confronted a challenge no teenager should face alone. How does an 18-year-old manage fame that has become literally dangerous to his well-being? What remains untold about teenage internet stardom is the complete absence of a playbook. No guidance, no established blueprint. You're thrust into learning through raw experience, with every misstep magnified before an audience of millions. Speed's global tours obliterated conventional expectations for social media influencers. His crowd sizes rivaled those of established musical superstars, making impromptu, unprepared appearances increasingly impossible and potentially dangerous. For his Southeast Asia tour, Speed Speed arrived meticulously prepared. Most American celebrities barely consider Southeast Asia when planning international appearances, typically limiting themselves to London, Paris, Tokyo, and perhaps Australia if they're feeling particularly bold. But across Southeast Asia, such access to Western celebrities is virtually non-existent. For Speed, this created unprecedented levels of anticipation among fans who rarely get such opportunities. From being swarmed by frenzied crowds in the Philippines to falling victim to scammers in Vietnam to wrecking a tuk-tuk in Thailand, each destination became a whirlwind blend of fan hysteria, cultural immersion, and Speed's trademark outrageous behavior. His epic journey across Asia reached its pinnacle with that legendary Jakarta stream, the one that shattered all previous records with a staggering 1 million concurrent viewers. This monumental achievement stood as the ultimate validation of his meteoric rise, firmly establishing him as the world's most watched live streamer, and you can bet the entire industry sat up and took notice. By the end of 2024, Speed had accomplished what few could ever dream of, securing his position as streaming's biggest star and claiming the industry's highest honor. Yet beneath the wild persona, the shouting, and those unpredictable viral moments lies a dimension of Speed many never glimpse. Despite his explosive rise to global fame at just 18, he's maintained a surprisingly level head throughout it all. His path wasn't without struggles. At only 14, he found himself kicked out of his home, relocating to Michigan with his father, a relationship that proved essential to his eventual success. What truly sets Speed's narrative apart isn't simply the magnitude of his celebrity, it's the breathtaking velocity of his ascent. In under 3 years, he transformed from a bedroom gamer into a figure whose mere presence brings cities to a standstill. From 6 million subscribers to an astounding 30+ million. From streaming to his friends to commanding the attention of the entire world. And remarkably, this is just the beginning of his story.